Our sales team also overcomes legal restrictions. You know, you were talking about children, and you'll see we faced a major legal restriction in Canada a few years ago, just the year before I started. BioStrath was actually taken off the shelves. We had to do a recall because of the government, because of children's indication, and it was really thanks to our sales reps that many of the retailers did not even take, well, they took it off the shelves, but they would be selling it from under the counter, still continuing to sell. And you'll see our sales dropped, but they did not drop to zero or anywhere near it. And that was really thanks to the relationship that our reps had and the ability for them to keep talking to the retailers, not to forget BioStrath, even though it wasn't on the shelves. And you know, our legal restrictions continue today. I think that if Alfred is retiring, it's because of the Canadian regulatory environment, and if David has white hair, it's because of Canada. My only advantage is I use Herbitant. So we'll look at what happened with regulatory, but really that's another major advantage. You know, and don't forget, we import into our country, as many of you do. So at customs, you can't put anything on the packages because they check. You can't put anything on your website because they check. So really, the only way that we have to speak the things that we want to speak is through our sales reps. Sales teams obviously influence the retailer with the positioning and the merchandising of the product, where they put the product. They're in their stores regularly. They'll tell them, you know, I think if you put the facing over here, double facing, triple facing, etc., and that's a major advantage, all of the merchandising. Relating a story, I think like Vogel, and we're part of the Vogel family, BioStrath has a very interesting story, and I think we've all heard it over the last few days. And that makes it a personal thing for our retailers. And some of our retailers, like Candy, will be in tears when she's recounting the BioStrath story. And that obviously contributes to sales. Our sales team can focus on the research. Again, even if it's research that Health Canada doesn't accept, Health Canada doesn't allow us really to talk about it, so we can't print it anywhere, but we can talk about it because spoken words are not going to be traced anywhere. And so, and particularly people like Dawn, who are very big on the technical and scientific side, do a lot of training to our retailers and talk about the research. And again, just coming on the bus this morning, he's saying, you know, that research that we saw yesterday, if we repackage it like this and like this, we'll be able to use it. And so I think that's one of the big advantages. You know, I think that I wanted to just show you some statistics about when we do, for example, a tour, how many people we have out at one of our seminars. This is when David came out in April. Oh, something went awry over in Toronto. It always goes awry in Toronto anyway, so. But in Vancouver, which you saw was not our largest population, we got almost 100 people and so on right across the country. And David is kind enough to come out every couple of years and do that with us. It's very rigorous for us to do that because when we fly from Montreal to Vancouver, it's like flying back to Switzerland. So it's a long way, and we did it, I think, all in like 3 nights or something, just flying from one place to the next. But the results were incredible, and you'll see them when I show you some of the sales results after the tour like this. But so what is the key and what is really the major advantage of having our sales force? There's no doubt about it, and I've heard it over the last few days, and this slide was prepared before the last few days, but it's really passion. We can sell the product, we can talk about the product, we can experience the product with true passion. And you can't market that, you can't advertise that. That is something that has to come out from the words and the way the words are spoken. And I'm going to leave a few minutes now to Dawn to talk about the passion.
Thank you. I'm not a born speaker like Mackie and David, so I'm going to keep this really, really short, stick to the script. And somebody did a study, some psychologists years ago, about anxiety around public speaking, And believe it or not, there's people out there who would rather undergo open heart surgery than to do a public seminar. I fit into that category, by the way.
And yet he's our top salesman. Go figure.
Go figure. So I'd like to very, very briefly talk about the selling of BioStrath from the perspective of a sales rep. Bioforce Canada recently commissioned a study that proved, among other things, that owners and staff of natural food stores are motivated not solely by profit and money, but by their desire to help their customers achieve better health. They would rather sell a less profitable product that they know will be of excellent quality than to sell a more profitable product that might not work or work at all. We also know that health food staff are very inquisitive and will seek out and study unique products that are of high efficacy. Both these 2 points speaks to the nature of retailers. These are people who are passionate about their customers and who will search out exceptional health products to recommend. If a sales rep is to be successful with BioStrath, he or she must understand the enormous potential of winning over the hearts and minds of the store staff and get them to recommend BioStrath. Or, in other words, convert them to a BioStrath ambassador. The single most important thing the rep can do to ensure that this happens is to train the staff on the product at every single opportunity. Whether this is done in a formal manner, like the ones our good friend David has done in Vancouver many, many times. And by the way, he's a rock star in Vancouver. Next time you come to Vancouver, we're going to have a limo waiting for you. Okay? We're going to give out backstage passes to the prettier girls. Okay?
He's as big as Blake out in Vancouver.
Or more often what happens is the training is done informally within the store or in a restaurant, done very, very casually over breakfast with the staff. This all has the same effect of gaining a new ambassador of the product. This is something that cannot be emphasized enough. And for countries that are new to the distribution of BioStrath, training the retailers will possibly require the least amount of investment. Having an impassioned and well-trained sales staff that are willing to convey the message to the retailers will certainly cost far less than running an ambitious advert campaign. Indeed, it's very important for reps to utilize all marketing tools such as displays, brochures, posters, and to ensure proper positioning of the product within the store. However, if the rep has not succeeded in converting at least one staff member into a BioStrath ambassador, then his success in selling BioStrath will be greatly limited. That's all I got to say.
Well, that's, of course, we do support our salespeople and their training, and I'll go into some of the POS materials that we use. I'm a very big believer in POS. This is the history of BioStrath in Canada since 2005. You can see we were almost at $1 million and $900,000, and we had the recall. So as I was telling you, it was literally taken off the shelves everywhere right across Canada. And yet, we still managed to sell close to $600,000 in 2006. And that was really, really a tribute to our salespeople, as David knows, because the product wasn't even on the shelves. We have slowly been able to get back up, to almost the level we were at prior to the recall, and we were helped, of course, by the H1N1. But also, as you notice, David came out between 2008 and 2009. I guess it was April 2009, and that really helped us get things going again, bring out the retailers, get them going. Because right now in Canada, we really are not allowed to put any claims at all. We are not allowed to retail to children at all. So we're very limited on what we can say, and yet you can see that we're really going back out. Unfortunately, last year we had another issue with our lovely regulatory people, and last year they took all of our products, Vogel included, off the shelves in all pharmacies if they didn't have what they called an NPN, which meant if they were not registered already with a license, they pulled all those products off the shelf. So we keep having these wonderful, as he said, it's not competition that worries me either. It's our regulatory affairs that's our biggest issue. And I think they want to be worse than the Australians is what they keep saying. So thank you very much, Aussies. 50th, we thought, you know what, this year we want to do something really big. We want to push back up over that $900,000 of sales. Manon, my marketing manager, and myself came to Switzerland last November. We sat with Caroline and with David. We presented what were our ideas. At that time, she presented her ideas, and I think we came out with a mixture of both. And so we added our own little monster mafioso teddy bear to the mix.